Indeed, a great pleasure at 4 p.m. on 27th of March, Saturday evening, early evening. It's a wonderful evening. If outside the window I see there's a beautiful light being given by Almighty, and that light which is coming is giving a new kind of a roshni and empowerment and energy to our youth, to our education ecosystem, and all of us in this universe. Now, with that light, this afternoon we have got Sri Ramesh B. Umrani ji. He is the director, Vivekananda Institute for Youth Awakening, Ramakrishna Vivekananda Vedanta Ashram, Bangalore. We extend him a very warm welcome. It's indeed a great pleasure to have him this afternoon with us in our
Thank you.
series of Swami Vivekananda's teaching for education and youth empowerment. Today the theme we have kept it, Stop Becoming Weak. And today is the 29th program. So ladies and gentlemen, enlightening talk on Swami Vivekananda's teaching for education and youth empowerment. And while extending him a very hearty welcome, we just wish to share with our new audience, those are joining us today, that our chamber since 1994 is taking care of the Indian diaspora, non-resident Indian. In 2003, we brought Parvasi Bharati Divas to India with Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. And now at present, there are approximately 31 million Indians abroad in different countries and different continents doing different remarkable jobs. Our chamber has got almost 8 to 9 programs every day, and we touch almost all continents. And our basic efforts are how to serve the humanity the best possible way. And particularly nowadays, we are focusing during the pandemic and post pandemic on education. And with education, we are working on skills. So, global skills and competencies, soft skills, life management skills, whatever we can talk about, we are taking care of that and empowering the education ecosystem. Immediately after this, you have got the next program at 5 p.m. from Singapore, and that is our senior advisor, Mr. Anil Manucha, along with today's guest. 6:30 p.m. today, you have got regular program, and today is the 46th program. Today is the 46th program on Ayurveda for the global wellness. So, Dr. Parmeshwar Arora ji, and then thereafter, you have got banking, finance, and insurance sector. You will have the expert Rajiv Raizada ji, who is our senior advisor. And thereafter, we are also having a series on nowadays basically taking care of freedom fighters, people those have given their life for the freedom of all of us so that we can breathe with freedom, we can live with freedom, we can enjoy independence. So you will have Mahan Swatantrata Sainani, Lala Lajpat Rai ji's next program. Today is going to be the 8th program in this particular series. So with these words, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, depending on the country, the time, the efforts, you will be having happy Holi. So stay safe, stay fine, take care of yourself, take care of everybody. And we very strongly believe from our chamber, whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Let's come together. Let's make education relevant. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, help me and join me in extending a warm welcome to Sri Ramesh B. Umrani ji this evening, who is going to talk about Stop Becoming Weak. Namaskar, sir. Hearty welcome.
Namaste, sir.
Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank
Indeed, such a pleasure. He is joining us from Bangalore. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on in our series further today with Sri Ramesh B. Umrani ji. It has come. We can see your screen.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your warm welcome, sir. Within this 2 to 3 minutes, you made me a great comfort. At the same time, you are taking me through your noble work where you are connecting across the globe and strengthening the society in making the society a better place than what it is. My namaskar to all the participants participating in this particular program. And when I was contacted, there were so many things in my mind. And first and foremost thing, Now we are on the alert as far as this COVID-19 is concerned. And wherever we go to any particular doctor, in spite of the vaccines, today I happen to meet my doctor on routine. You're saying on and above everything, what it matters is finally our immunity or our immune system. Stronger we are at our immune system, nothing can happen. But however, the norms which has been prescribed by the government, it has to be managed. So from that particular perspective, this topic today is very relevant. That is, stop becoming weak. It is at every level. It is at every level, at a physical level, at a mental level, at an intellectual level, and at a spiritual level. So time is short. Straight away, I'll start with a few ideas which are there in my mind based on the Vivekananda ideas. The first and the foremost statement to the youths who are all able to hear to me through this wonderful technology. Vivekananda says, "Give me few men and women who are pure and selfless, and I shall shake the whole world." This is way back more than 130 years, this particular statement. He is just talking about few men and women, and I'm sure from this particular program, at least there can be one man and one woman. And underlying point in Vivekananda, every statement just not to be read as it is. He says who are pure and who are selfless, where he speaks basically on the character education. And what he means to say, I can shake the world, to move the world. Vivekananda ideas will strengthen us to the greater extent. And another slide I have just to speak upon on Swami Vivekananda and his message to the youths. Swami Vivekananda had a momentous mission in his life. He wanted youths to come forward in large numbers on the national lines, in the national spirit. His language was fiery, and energy was his method of action. Accordingly, he knew full well that only those in the flower of their youth can carry out his words. Remember, Vivekananda is a youth icon. I address almost every day at least 100 of youths. Today, our youths know all the special days which are popular, but most of them still are not aware what is a National Youth Day. You all should remember, my dear friends, Vivekananda birthday is being celebrated as a National Youth Day across the world. For why? Why? Because Vivekananda ideals and the work for which he lived could be a great source of inspiration for the youths in order to take this country ahead. So that's how every youth, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, Vivekananda is a youth icon. Why? Because if you ask me the relevance of Vivekananda today, is Vivekananda relevant today? A lot of youths, this question will come into your mind. Is Swami Vivekananda relevant today? If you ask me, yes, he is relevant. Why? Because Swami Vivekananda talks not on the nature of the problems that we face in our life, but on the spirit by which every problem can be tackled. We all are human beings. We are a conscious entity. We know we are beyond animals. Why? Because we have something called as conscious and we are aware of it. We are just not this body. We are not just this mind. We are not just whatever we appear externally. So from this particular perspective, Swami Vivekananda relevance is not on the nature of the problems that we are facing today, but he works on our spirit. And through this right spirit, we can take and tackle any kind of the problems that human beings are facing across. And most important things is youths should be made to study Vivekananda's message, and most importantly, the message of strength and faith. My dear friends, as a educationist, sir was speaking, and the whole education is nothing but the strength and the faith. Today's youths, if they don't have the adequate strength and if they don't have the faith in themselves, what is the use of the education? The credentials becomes only a mark sheet. And most importantly, their way of thinking and living will be surely revolutionized. Before we could revolutionize the society, or we have to contribute to the mass. And most important thing here is each one of us need to be revolutionized, and that can happen only if we are a personification of strength and youth, and the way of thinking can be changed. Anyone who reads Swami Vivekananda, anyone who comes in contact with Swami Vivekananda ideas as an ordinary iron piece which can get transformed into a magnet. So similarly, each individual, you will become a magnetic personality by your personality of strength and faith. So that's the reason I call upon every youth participating in this. You have to study Vivekananda beyond your exams. A sincere study of Swami Vivekananda's life and message will not only help the youths to develop the marvelous personality. Every youth, you are being influenced by one or other in your life. Knowingly or unknowingly, you imitate or you follow someone, including in your dress style, in your hairstyle, or you picking up a particular goals in your life. But whom you follow, who is your goal, is very, very important. And here it will also stand as a beacon light all through their lives. Those who pick up Vivekananda, just in the harbor, the entire ships in the ocean, you'll see when they have to come to the shore, ultimately what will be the guiding light for them will be that beacon. So similarly in our life, if Vivekananda is there, we don't need anybody, and Vivekananda guides us, traverse always on the path of the strength, purity and cheerfulness. Lack of cheerfulness is not a youth at all, irrespective of the age. So long you carry the cheerfulness, you become a youth. So these are the few messages of Swami Vivekananda in order to study him. And I'll come straight away to my topic today. Stop becoming weak. Means what? Instead of growing in strength, we are becoming weak. How do you say this? Anywhere you go and talk, when a youth expresses the fear in his life, it can be any walk of life. If he expresses fear, he is becoming weak. And unless and until we don't become strong in our life, we can't proceed in any endeavor. And basically here Vivekananda talks on the four strengths. The first one is the physical strength. If we are physically weak, we cannot achieve any great things, my dear friends. So that's the reason the first and the foremost thing is the physical strength. So physically, you should not be weak. And for that, the prescription is at least 1 hour in a day you need to give for your physical fitness. Then talk about your rest of the activities. Why? Because it is through this body we achieve all great things. And if the body is not strong enough, a strong mind in a strong body. And the second thing, the most important thing is the moral strength. And all our weaknesses, physical weaknesses can be overcome by one or the other way, by nutritious food and all. As far as our moral weakness is concerned, this will lead to all kind of the psychological disorders. We need to have the right emotions, and moral strength is most important. And for this, Vivekananda gives abundant nutritious food throughout his literature. And the third one is the intellectual strength. And intellectually, if we are not strong, we will not be able to battle this life. Why? Because human is a rational thinking entity. We are being bombarded every day with new ideas, new set of the people, and always the weak will be trampled. My dear friends, you can't afford to be intellectually weak. And in order to study Vivekananda, the most important aspect will be your intellectual strength. And please understand here, intellectual strength doesn't mean just your marks. It is beyond that. Means intellectuality here means viveka pragne, means what? Ability to discriminate between the real and unreal, ability to discriminate between right and wrong. After your ability to describe, able to identify the right and the wrong, then you should be able to live up to it. So you can't afford to become weak as far as your intellectual strength is concerned. Last but not the least, and the most important thing is the spiritual strength. Every human being, the epitome of the humanity is finally the spirituality, and you have to reach this particular stage. So spiritual strength. In all these four angles, we can't afford to become weak. Here are some prescriptions of Swami Vivekananda which can make every youth a dynamic. He says, strength is that we want so much in this life, for what we call the sin and the sorrow have all one cause, and that is our weakness. With weakness, the ignorance will crop up, and with ignorance comes misery. What a wonderful derivation here it is. If we are suffering misery, it is because of the ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of being aware. Who am I? Am I just this body? Am I just this mind? Am I just this intellectual? Or am I just this ego? Who am I? So, Vivekananda, when he was addressing in America, he says, he addresses the gathering as Amrutasya Putra. You are all immortal. You're all immortal. So as long as we carry this ignorance of just only the ego and the body consciousness, that misery will come. And why this ignorance? Because of our weakness. This weakness can be a physical weakness, it can be a mental weakness, intellectual or the spiritual weakness. So that's the reason, strength. So there is no medicine in the world, including doctors, suffer this weakness. There is no human being without the weakness, they say. But if you take Vivekananda, there is a medication, there is a solution to overcome this weakness. And all weakness will fall in this four category, and Vivekananda address all four. What a beautiful statement here. Vivekananda says, weak have no place here in this life or in any other life. Means you don't deserve to live as a human being in this society at all. If you are weak, why you should be weak? And I should know, if I'm weak, there is no place here. Nobody will entertain, because weakness will lead to slavery. We have seen, more than 200 years, the slavery of this country. Very handful of Britishers could rule, and we have suffered this slavery. Why? Because of our weakness. So weakness is death. The true death, I mean, physical death, Vivekananda is not talking here. He's talking weakness is death. What a wonderful example he correlates here. There are hundreds and thousands of the microbes surrounding us, but they cannot harm us unless we become weak, unless this body is susceptible. You see today in the corona frontiers, so many medical, paramedical related people, they are working. Hardly not even 1% of these people suffer because of the corona. Why? Because they are strong. They are not susceptible. They are strong physically. From this particular reason, there are million microbes of misery also floating about us, around us. Never mind, they dare not to approach us. They have no power to get a hold on us until the mind is weakened. Remember, this is not my statement. It's from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. He has said this more than 125 years. If we are weak, if we are susceptible, nothing can help us, nothing can protect us. We need to be resistant. So similarly, today human being suffers because of so many miseries around you. It can be health issues, it can be financial issues, it can be relationship issues, it can be emotions. So unless and until I am not strong, nobody can protect me. And if I am strong, what will happen is I will be competent enough to face these challenges in the life, and I can outgrow of these miseries, and I can be I can be, a hallmark to the youths. I can prove someone, look, there is a way for us to fight. Lot of people try to promote Vivekananda. The best way to promote Swami Vivekananda is after you being a follower or a student of Vivekananda, your life itself should speak that, hey, he has studied Vivekananda, he is following Vivekananda. That's how he is much better than us, swimming across the miseries that each one of us are facing. He is also facing, but he is swimming across. Why? Because he has studied Swami Vivekananda. He has imbibed the ideas of Vivekananda and he has assimilated into his life. That's the reason he is able to sail across. So from this particular perspective, all the audience, I'm appealing. There may be a huge number, and sir is doing this in a day itself. There are so many series. Before speaking Vivekananda, we have to assimilate his ideas. There's a wonderful picture, in one of the school, in a government school I had been, and just this particular picture was there. I asked that girl, who has done this, sir? I said, why? She says, she is my hero. Today's youths need to understand and realize that who is your hero? Whom are you choosing in the life? Yad bhavam tad bhavati. Regarding whom you think, you become the same. And what your thoughts are, you grow only to that extent. I'm sure you will never ever grow beyond your thoughts. So take care of our thoughts, where Buddha also say we are the product of our thoughts. And Vivekananda, there is a small booklet on the power of thoughts. Swami Vivekananda puts a wonderful question to the youths. This is the one question I put every man, woman, or a child when they are in their physical, mental, and the spiritual training. Are you strong? This is the first question. Are you strong? Second thing is, do you feel strength? For I know it is strength alone that leads to truth. Why practicing truth is so difficult, my dear friends? Because we don't have adequate strength. And he says, strength alone leads to truth, and truth alone can render strength to us. It is vice versa. So are we strong? Whether it's a physical, whether it's a mental, whether it's a spiritual training. And remember, education should give us a strength. Otherwise, it is not education at all. The remedy for the weakness is not brooding over the weakness, but thinking of the strength. What can I do? How can I face the challenges? Yeah, this has come now. See, this is how this during the corona period, lot many new inventions have happened. Many people have found the genius way of living, the way they have fought. And on the other side, people would have suicided also. From this particular perspective, if something in the form of the weakness comes us, let us not brood over it. Just quickly, pull up your socks and think that what is that I can do? How I can face that? And such thinking can come only if we are thinking of the strength. Vivekananda gives here one more wonderful ideas. The brain and muscles must develop simultaneously. Today, a lot of youths, they can't, lift a 25 kg weight. The brain, today's brain is very capable, highly capable. Today's students, no one you are below 90%. Huh? Everybody is above 90%. Huh? The brain is wonderful, but along with that, the muscles also need to be strong. So for that reason, as I said, physical strength. He says, iron nerves with an intelligent brain, and the whole world will be at your feet. And trust me, my dear friends, I am studying Vivekananda right from my college days for last 35 years. Whatever he has said, to the possible extent, whatever was applicable to me in the way of my life, I have implemented, and it has given me a tremendous strength, and I'm able to sail across all the challenges of my life. So here Vivekananda is assuring, who is none other than the incarnation of Lord Shiva. He says, intelligent brain and iron nerves, I mean the physical fitness, the whole world will be at your feet. If you want to rule, if you want to conquer the whole world, here is a prescription. Our country now wants the muscles of iron and the nerves of steel and the gigantic wills which nothing can resist, which can penetrate into the mysteries and the secrets of the universe. And such person will be able to accomplish the purposes in any fashion, even if it meant going down to the bottom of the ocean and meeting death face to face. Here, today's youths, you work. What does he mean when he says muscles of iron? Means you should never feel fatigue. Look at this age, sir is working. I know, when students ask me, sir, 8-hour session you do right from morning till evening, and evening also you are same enthusiastic. Then I'll say I'm a poor vegetarian. Enthusiasm doesn't come from the food. Enthusiasm doesn't come, from the that kind of leafy food. Or what I'm trying to say is your thoughts are the power of your mind. And how someone in one life, they could work so much. In ordinary human life, he is not even be able to work, the little work that is being assigned to him. How you need to understand that muscles of iron, which doesn't know fatigueness, nerves of the steel. You should be like, a steel, which is the best conductor of the electricity, and a gigantic willpower means you don't know what fear is in your life. You should ask one thing. See, ahara, bhaya, nidra, maithuna, all animals and me, we are suffering. But with all the education, with everything to us, still if we have a fear or a phobia, I don't think we have an education. And such personality who picks up something and he never turns back, he can penetrate into the mysteries and the secrets of the universe. Look today, all scientific inventions that they have come, and all the wonders that they have come, and everything today, the evolution that is happening is only because of such personalities who are going deep into the secrets of the universe. And also they will accomplish their purpose in any fashion, maybe even meeting the death face to face by diving deep into the ocean. Means this is the outcome of the true education, and the country wants such few handful youths, my dear friends. And remember here, I read somewhere in Sir's pamphlet that education is for empowerment. Please remember, education is not for employment. Education is for empowerment. If you are empowered, job is very much secondary or tertiary. And unfortunately, today's youths, you are taking education for the empowerment. No, 5 years back, I resigned from my job. I was working in the corporate world in a training department, HR. Heading 2 states, earning lakhs of salaries, very comfortable. But one of my Ramakrishna Vivekananda Ashrama monk from Delhi, he came and he spoke to me. He said, Ramesh, how long you want to lead a selfish life? Why can't you quit and do something to the youths? of the country, inspire them by giving Swami Vivekananda ideas. I quit the job and I came here, and last 5.5 years I am doing extremely well. And let me tell you, the joy that I am getting here, it is no crores of rupees can give me, no post of a president can give me. Why? Because when you come yourself out of your college to serve your country, my dear, you will be able to see the wonders of the human life. So from this particular perspective, develop that kind of iron muscles, nerves, and most importantly, the willpower. Vivekananda further says, first of all, our young men should be strong. Are you all strong? He has asked. Religion is later on. You know, empty stomach is no more good for religion. When you are hungry, don't talk in religion. Food itself becomes the religion. Vivekananda says, be strong, my young friends. What a love, what a care, what a affection, what a motherly attitude for Swamiji. He is calling us friends. You have to feel. Education is feeling. You have to feel. Be strong, my young friends. That is my advice. You will be nearer to heaven through football than through the study of Bhagavad Gita. Here, somebody may wrongly interpret that Vivekananda has condemned Bhagavad Gita. No, he's saying that you will be nearer to heaven by playing football. Means, what does it mean? By playing football, by playing sports, if you are a perfect physical fitness, then you will be able to implement the mighty ideas of Lord Krishna, who has given to Arjuna, who was representing us. Without your physical fitness, if you want to study Bhagavad Gita, it will be very heavy for you to carry. So from this particular perspective, your physical education is the most, where he gives utmost importance to physical fitness. And subsequently, he says, 1/3 of the human miseries are because of the physical fitness. 1/3 of the human miseries are because of the physical weakness. That's the reason. Today you go to the doctor, it's all because of the weakness. You ignore health, you have to face the future, you have to face the music of the life. So at any cost, anything that you want to attend, please take this message of Vivekananda: never ever be first and foremost physically weak. This I lay down as the first essential in all I teach. Anything that brings you spiritually, mentally, physically weak, touch it not by the toes of your feet. My dear friends, whenever we suffer, whenever misery comes to us, whenever we regret out of the pain, just ask one question by pausing yourself for a minute. Why did this come to you? Because somewhere I was spiritually weak, somewhere I was emotionally weak, somewhere I was physically weak. Because of this physical or mental or the spiritual weakness, I am suffering whatever I am suffering today. So Vivekananda, in the beginning itself, he says, touch not with your toes of your feet. So youth is sleeping. I say every youth should be there in the ground at morning at 5 o'clock. And why are you sleeping? Because of the physical weakness. Somebody will lose the physical fitness. His tummy is spoiled, stomach upset. Why? Because he doesn't know where to stop while he's eating. So there is an appetite weakness. You don't know where to stop. And the rich and the cultural heritage of the India is, the spiritual richness. And today's youths, you are just ignoring, in the name of the science, the spirituality. And spirituality is a superior science to than available any other science. Because at the any life problems that you have to face, ultimately the spiritual science will come to the support, not your physics or chemistry. You cannot go and talk thermodynamics to anyone who is not doing well in his life. If you have financial problems, you cannot go and talk a plus b whole square. So from this particular phase, how to face the life, all that science is nothing but the spiritual science. A wonderful statement, Swami Vivekananda, the gist of his entire teaching in one slide. He says, if you are strong, take up Vedanta philosophy and be independent. We may be in a democratic, we are in a democratic country, we are politically free, but are you really free? Do you really have the freedom? Do you have an independent thinking? Education means what? You should have an independent thinking. Why do you have a herd instinct? Everybody studied graduation, everybody did post-graduation, everybody did a job, everybody got married. This is a herd instinct. Unless and until you don't come out of that, and in order to come out of that, you need to have a thinking ability, that is an independent thinking ability. And if you have such mentality, Vivekananda says, if you are strong, take up Vedanta. Vedanta is our scriptures, Vedas, and be independent. If you cannot do that, look, he's tapering the dose as a physician does. He's tapering the dose. If you cannot do that, worship God. If not, worship some image. Here is speaking about nirvikara, I mean nirakara and saguna God. Means some people would like to worship God in the form of the idol. Some people like nirguna. So whatever it is, you worship the God. If you are not fit student for the Vedanta, why? Because Vedanta requires a highly rational, clear thinking ability of an individual, thinking faculty, and apart from that, he should be a perfect student of a Jnana Yoga. But everybody may not be of that competency. Swamiji is giving the second option, that is worshipping the God, Bhakti Yoga. If you lack strength even to do the worship, Swami Vivekananda says, do good work without the idea of the gain. Means service attitude, what sir was talking now. Offer everything you have unto the service of the Lord. I'm sure if you check your appetite in this menu, you will fit into one or the other. You take up, and anything will lead you to the ultimate goal. It will lead to the pinnacle. That's the spirituality. You choose what you want based upon where you are, what are your competencies, and what Swami Vivekananda. And let me tell you, there is nothing more or nothing less. For example, we generally call science is the best, commerce followed by then arts. But let me tell you, my dear friends, after your graduation, and if you appear a competitive exam through UPSC, and if you become an IAS officer, nobody will say that, including medical students, hey, you are an art student or you are a science student. Through any graduation, graduation is a graduation. Through any graduation, you can come to the administrative service. So similarly here, anything that you pick up, whether you pick up independently Vedanta or a Bhakti Yoga or a service attitude, you will be able to reach the highest. But pick up the one and adhere to it and put your life and soul into it. Swami Vivekananda literatures, once again I am insisting you why you should read. Swami Vivekananda literature radiates the power and inspiration. See, you want inspiration, where all you go searching in this world, it's not available, my dear friends. Maximum you get corporate style motivation. Motivation will not stay for a long time. Motivated person will do for a particular scheme, and afterwards again you'll go back into the shell. But if you are inspired, you will work with the dedication and putting everything at the end. You will doing it with the Ishvara Samarpana Bhavana. You will be doing it for the name of the God, in the name of the God. His letters are the replete with the energy and enthusiasm. I'm giving you a hint here. From where do I get the enthusiasm? Nowhere. Just pondering day, night on the ideas of Swami Vivekananda and how to make this nation better, how to make this nation better through youths, how to join hand with Dr. Sharmaji. It is not one. Thousands of us are working in the service of the motherland. And remember, for you, the biggest qualification that you require to serve the motherland is not any academics or not any qualification. The only qualification is, do you have the concern? Do you have the feeling? Whatever you have, you give. It is not necessarily the money, and that's the last and the least thing. One can imbibe his spirit and fervor by going through his letters with the earnestness. He only says, it's a Vivekananda words, I only tell you this, whoever reads my letters will imbibe my spirit. Whoever will read Swami Vivekananda letters will imbibe the spirit. He once assured, I shall inspire men everywhere until the world shall know that it is one with the God. Oh, what a wonderful statement. He is there to inspire. Indians are less inspired by Swami Vivekananda. Most of the maximum work has happened in the West. How he worked there. Vivekananda is a universal personality. Vishwa Bhratratva he preaches. It's not only for the Indians. Why? Because, as I said, he works on the spirit, not on anything else. So when we have such an icon, when we have such a guru, then we have such a role model for us. What is that we are looking, and why should we be weak? It's a shame for us being born in the land of a Swami Vivekananda and having his ideas with us, and they are being published so well. Each one of you, my dear friends, you can't insult your mother and motherland by continuing to be weak. So that's the reason every day you must live with Vivekananda. That is to say that though he is not bodily present, he still lives and works through his stimulating literatures. He himself says, I am a voice without form. Whoever reads, he is a voice without form. He is midst of us. That's why many youths will sacrifice their life. They become sannyas. I know many Ramakrishna Mission monks, many of them are chartered accounts. Many of them are doctors, engineers, Sarva Sangha Parityag. They did everything and they are serving the society. My dear friends, at least if not anything, can you serve your mother and the job that you are into earnestly and honestly? Even if we are able to do that also, we have done a great salutation for Swami Vivekananda. Those who sincerely wish to build up their character in any field, you may be a doctor, you may be engineer, you may be a businessman, those who wish sincerely to build up their character and personality should intently study Vivekananda life and message with an open heart and a receptive mind. And if you start doing this, I am 100% sure you will regret that. How come I lost these many years in my life reading something which was not strengthening me as such as Vivekananda? My dear friends, I am studying not only Vivekananda, various other parallel scriptures and wonderful self-help books. Whenever I read anything, I just correlate it. Vivekananda has said this. Vivekananda has written this. So looking from this particular perspective, Romarola, one of the French Nobel laureate, he says, what a wonderful statement. He says, me, after going through Swami Vivekananda literature, he says, I cannot touch the sayings of Swami Vivekananda, which are spread across the pages of the book at a distance of 30 years. Look, a Nobel laureate, he says, I cannot touch the sayings of Swami Vivekananda, which are spread across the pages of the book at a distance of 30 years, which will not fail to give me a thrill like an electric shock. He says, he compares it to the electric shock, and further he describes what would have been the fate of those fortunate few who heard these firing words from the lips of a hero. He comes to India all the way, he meets Rabindranath Tagore and he expresses, sir, I want to study Vivekananda. Rabindranath Tagore says, he who study Vivekananda. Why? Because she is as vast as ocean and as deep as ocean and as vast as sky. You cannot study India, but he gives an assurance. But if you want to study Swami Vivekananda, if you want to study India, just study Swami Vivekananda. Why? Because Swami Vivekananda is nothing but a condensed India. You want to know your motherland? Just study Vivekananda. He is condensed India. Who says this? The great Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore says. And finally, he says, in him, everything is positive. We want always to be positive in the life, and Vivekananda can be a great icon for us. आप सभी को धन्यवाद. Most importantly, I thank Sharma sir for organizing and for giving me an opportunity to serve my motherland and reaching the youths. My dear friends, on the left-hand side, just I have quoted 3 books. The wonderful book, there is by name Vivekananda Reader. You can buy this book. The second one is Lectures from Colombo to Almora, where Swami Vivekananda all the way traveled from the west, from Colombo till North India, Almora. The series of the lectures, it will help a lot for the competitive exams also. When I say like this, you may buy perhaps. Then letters of Swami Vivekananda. As I said, any letter, anywhere you are sitting, you're in a bus stand, railway station, airport, just read Swami Vivekananda and let the Swami Vivekananda spirit, percolate in each one of you. Let you become a personified Vivekananda to serve your mother and motherland is my sincere prayer and wish. Thank you and all. Namaste.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Very kind of you. Indeed, this was such a rocking and scintillating and captivating and enthusiasm which you have given this evening to everybody. I would say you have shaken up the entire thing in such a beautiful way. There were positive tremors and positive earthquake so that people should understand, and it is so scintillating message of strength and faith, way of thinking and living. Always take path of strength, purity and cheerfulness, strong body in strong mind, strength. It is that we want so much in this life. Weakness leads to slavery. And the booklet which you mentioned, Power of Thoughts, yes. And are you strong? Do you feel strength? We need iron nerves with an intelligent brain. Your thoughts are your power. Education is basically feeling. physical education and fitness is very, very important. And yes, I totally endorse and agree with you because we have been given that training in the armed forces. Inspirational speaker, when you mentioned that, yes, it is not motivational speaker, it is inspirational speaker. Yes, literature radiates power and inspiration, and Vivekanand ji is an international personality. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing could have been more pious, nothing could have been more wonderful this evening than to have Sri Ramesh B. Umarani ji, the director of the Vivekananda Institute for Youth Awakening, Ramakrishna Vivekananda Vedanta Ashram, Bangalore. And while folding my hands at the age of 72, let me tell in a very polite way to him, although coming from the armed forces, I'm the first Indian Army officer who did masters and PhD in tourism, hospitality, and service industry, and first Army officer to move on deputation to Ministry of Tourism. But till date, I have not even tasted beer, and I'm a vegetarian. I do not know how to taste pan. What exactly is there? Because all the time there is a belly, fire in the belly. I come from a very humble family, and I always believe that I think we do not know who we are, where from we have come, where we have to go, when do we have to go. But maybe the life and the army training has taught one thing: you got to do your karma the best possible way, whatever you're performing. We are so enriched, we are so indebted this afternoon that you have been very kind to spare your valuable time. And Swamiji, who is here in Chandigarh on the way to Brazil, and our deep regards and salutation and great, great gratitudes to him as well, to put us across to you and to bring you on this particular platform. We have become more humble this afternoon, and we look forward to a long term association and learning from you continuously, because you are looking after the Youth Awakening program. I wish and I pray that you give more valuable time on some other days to us also. That's what is my folding prayer. Thank you very much. Thank you